Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Good. Monday, the Master Day 22. Double deuces. How is that? Well, we had a nice weekend here. It was lovely. It was like summer. And I guess it'll be that way from now on. Unless it gets up to the 90s and then you'll want to retreat. So, apologize I wasn't here Wednesday. Tuesday night, I was up all night, burning up and yet being freezing cold. Doug went out, couldn't find a thermometer anywhere, so I don't know how hot I was. But I had 3 blankets and a blanket coat on. And 9 o'clock when I woke up, there I was without the fever. So it's like I said, some of those times you think you have things happening and they're to burn up a lot of light, burn up a lot of distortion so you have more light, which as we went through the day, we began to understand. So let me say good morning to Cavell and Carol and Marby. Today is Earth Day. How about that? I did not check my calendar this morning because it's not in here. So what do we want to talk about today? Well, let's set our energy and I'll tell you. My hand is itching today. So we want to ask Mother and Father God to come and sit down within our hearts and envision that gold light. And we might want to begin to request to see the golden thread. If you've been on and listening, the golden thread is what you look for to discover truth versus the illusion. So as we ask them to come and sit within our hearts and radiate that beautiful gold light, we want to see if we can begin to feel the frequency and the vibration, or even see that golden thread of truth. Because the transformation of you will come when you just hear truth, when you feel the vibration of truth, and when you make choices to have your own thought process to resonate as truth. All right, so we're going to say our mantra. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. And we'll take a breath. And we'll know that all of the different protections are already around us. And we'll ask for Lord Gautama Buddha to bring forth his protective blue flame, 4 inches thick, around all of our protections. And we'll welcome all the archangels, angels, masters, and all those from the universe who are walking on the path of their light, journeying throughout space and time. How about that? And good morning, Jules. Jules, learning to listen. It's an interesting name that you are learning to listen to the heavens, I would say. Mother, Father, the archangels, all who are there to teach us. So what we're going to talk about today is detachment. I don't remember us talking about it before. Not as our lesson for the day. Good morning, Shailene. Oh, I'm sorry. �13Sophia rising. That is where I'm at. Right. It is the Eye of Horus session, which means it's about healing. So why do things that we ask not happen? I get asked this all the time. Well, I'm doing it. Well, you may be doing it for 10 thoughts of a million thought day. But also what you're not doing is being detached from other people. So, like who? Well, everyone. The word attachment, that's part of detached. You do not want to have to be attached to people, attached to things that you're doing. For instance, if you have a great idea and you're wanting it to manifest, don't talk about it. There is something to be said about being the silent watcher. Or you don't know what those other people who are hearing you are going to go and do with it, or how they'll think about it, or where they'll hold it at. So there's a detachment of many things. First and foremost, you want to keep detached of the pure, beautiful light of consciousness you're developing. And those cords that probably a lot of you have at the end of the day, as soon as you feel them, you want to start letting them go. Because that's taking your dreams right with you, at least dreams as you might want them. Because then other people, as they're tapped into you, go and take it and skew it to something different. And right here from DK's teachings, he says, you must hold yourself free as much as you can from identifying yourself with that which you have created or that you have attempted to create. No one will see your dream as you do. It doesn't have, if I can use the word passion, but you have upon that which you are doing as you're working. So, not to point someone out, but here, Jules learning to listen. No one's going to be learning to listen exactly like how she is, and then eventually whatever she teaches. So you need to be quiet. Be the silent watcher and observe how it's shifting inside of you. The secret for all aspirants is to cultivate the attitude of the onlooker and of the silent watcher. And may I emphasize the word silent. Not really a lot of us do we know what is the silent watcher. Bingo, it's you. It's how you allow yourself to sit within this world of consciousness that you're continually clearing and how you interact with your outer world. So, some people get so excited about it, they want that outer world to know about them. They want them to be a part of pushing them out. Now that's going to get you into trouble. Because how that happens is by being the silent watcher, by being detached, and having a greater light, so the light will be felt. Because the part of you that you're really wanting everyone to know about is you. That which you created. You can see mine moving here. Yeah, that's the secret. And everybody has it backwards, I think. Detach. Detach from where you think you're going. Hold it close down in that heart where mother and father are and where that little string of truth is for you. That's all you need. Exactly. Jules says she's always learning and listening. Good morning, Myra. I know I had a beautiful weekend. It's like we were on a vacation. Went here, did this. Today we're starting our first experience of making bread. It's a certain kind of bread, but I've never made bread. And all the cooking I did with my mother. Of course, now we got a bread maker, but there was none of those things then. But so it's going to be an exciting day for me today, too. So, detachment. How do you think magical work moves through you? It is not because you're attached to someone else in the process. It's because you have detached and you are empowering the light of the consciousness that we've been working on here quite a while now to allow it to expand out. And it's how you let it grow. So DK, I'll just look for little sentences. He begs all students in the urgency of the present situation to leave off reading for a moment and think about it and let it inspire you to begin to practice it and demonstrate it. The best work of a disciple is in detachment. How many of you knew that? The disciple comes to realize that because of this detachment, he is, for the remainder of life, simply a worker, one of a great army of hierarchical workers, and supposedly no personality inclinations, objectives, or wishes. What does that mean? That means the goal is to become a being of light so that you can hold God's light. And that which actions you take and you move are not yours, the human. They're that God's light that moves through you. You can only do that if you come first to the altar in detachment, without all the other worldly things, earth things. And you sit and pray before God, I am that I am. And that channel of yours opens to such a great pure light and begins to come down and funnel out and around through all the levels of your field, that level of consciousness that you've been able to develop. So the physical brain can be so much of the reflector of the mental life that you will remain essentially unaffected by outer conditions. So we have sit here and looked at that. How many things do you all let affect you? People that emotionally go haywire, you let them affect your emotions. Or people that are disappointed, all those things you cannot any longer allow to affect you, because it's going to prevent you from being this greater sense of God consciousness that you're attempting to develop. The disciple will learn to live with his physical liabilities under adverse conditions, and his work maintains its usual high level. You can't attach to other things because you have things going wrong. They're going to get better so much easier if you bring God's light in to help them. See? Let's see some new people. Myra, good morning. And Paul Free, well, good morning. Yes, you made it, Paul. And Lauren. So we're talking about detachment for those of you who just joined, and how you keep yourself pure is by not having to attach yourself to things or people or situations or the rain or the not rain. You want to just discover how you are. If we look at our little book here, which is now gone, it is, you sit here, your higher self is in the middle, and the I am presence is your individualized experience of God. So the higher self works with you to keep the development of who you are being clear, letting go of patterns, letting go of things that, all the things that you might not want to detach yourself from, letting them go. And then you lift up, and people really ask me sometimes, does your higher self really become you? Yes, it does. When you have grown to such a point that you have cleared your 7 levels, you will merge with your higher self, is the higher experience of you. So, next question, does that higher experience of you then become in alignment with God? And that's true. And God in itself is so much that I don't even know how to define it in that way. But it is your growth. Your growth is to become in the likeness of God, whatever that is for each of you. You see? So let me see here for his final thought. There's a good thought here. It leads you to understand the position that not one single thing that produces any reaction of pain or distress in the emotional body matters the least. These reactions are simply recognized, lived through, tolerated, and not permitted to produce any limitation. All disciples will do well to ponder on what I have just said, and I'll repeat it. It leads you to assume the emotional problem it's saying might be the hardest. But only the disciple that can handle his own self-pity and free himself from the inner emotional storm in which he finds himself living will be free or find freedom. It leads him to assume the position that not one single thing which produces any reaction of pain or distress in the emotional body matters the least. These reactions are simply recognized, lived through, tolerated, and not permitted to produce any limitation. So what did we just discover? Not only are we talking about detachment, but we're looking at all the possible ways that you limit yourself, that you have an error in defining yourself by thinking that you are this, but plus that. And that's never been the truth, never will be the truth. So as you're wanting to discover yourself, the emotional body, that second chakra out and around you, needs to be transformed and not have given attention by you. And preserve forever the attitude of the onlooker in the head. This is the detachment of the soul within the heart that will grow, while the attachment of the soul to souls will then grow and you'll become a part of the whole. You know, there is 1,080 souls in your soul family. One gets to be the Ascended Master. 1,080 souls in the conglomerate that your soul's connected to. One will have done the work and be able to take that energy of everyone and move it into an Ascended Master. So very powerful when you go to really understand it all and how important it is for each one of us to learn all these lessons, whether it's detachment, whether it's about judgment, all these things that are words. If they're still in your life every day, then you have some work to do. You know, it's you want your channel as well as your chakras and that energy that holds that God consciousness that we talked about a week or so ago to be free, to not have any attachments. And to do that, you must become detached. Just one. One of 1,080 beings like you that on some inner realm is its own experience, but one will become the Ascended Master. So, detachment is the path of least resistance for a first ray nature. So, there are 7 rays. We all have a ray that we're living on. It's a long story, we're not going to go there. But if you're a first ray person, which would be blue, not saying I am, but the blue ray is the will. Yeah. So you have to look at where is your will? What is it doing? Are you willful or are you willing? 2 different uses of that word. Something to contemplate. So, does anyone here have questions about becoming detached? I hear it in my head. No, not as easy as it might sound, because you can set the intention, but you must hold that intention. You can't say, oh yes, right now, I'm going to be detached, and in 15 minutes from now, start going to the old past behavior. That's not what it means. It's about learning and assessing yourself and then making a choice. If you want to choose freedom, then one of the things you're going to want to choose to not be detached. Or shall I say, you do want to be detached. You don't want to be attached to things. I'm sorry. So, very fascinating. What it really urges you to do is discover who you are. So many times, people want to define themselves as someone else or through someone else. That all needs to end because that's not letting you discover you. Yes, please may I have a book title. Also, this is a very difficult lesson I am working through now. It's through the lessons of Master DK. Probably what you need to start with is the discipleship of the New Age #1. And he'll go through having you do meditations for a month or talking to you and having you talk to yourself. Where I just read from is the book I told you before, is his Ponder on This, which talks a little bit about everything. It's not really as a teaching, it's an awareness for you. See, I could go to the page and it's about joy. I can go to a page and it's about the ego. Is everything in here? No. He has 22 books that are his teachings. And discipleship in the New Age. And if you're all doing healing, you want to start with esoteric healing. Now, it's a book you're going to need to read over and over. I probably read mine. You can see the shape of them. I had to take always had this covered. Did you see how many things I have reminded me of my esoteric healing? Read it many times because the first time you won't know what he said, just like you're saying now. Please, what did that say? Well, it is how DK works. You're not going to read one book one time. You will not get it. Even a paragraph, or it's the kind of thing that sinks in. That's how he teaches. So today, we're learning detachment because he's saying to you, become the silent watcher. Now, how hard? If he just says it, do you think you're going to manage it? No. It's working with your own thought process and have it become quiet. Have it be quiet, that it's not constantly looking at this one, looking at that one, wanting this one. You want to find peace and where there can be no thought at all. Well, you know what, Lord, we're probably a lot of people here are all working on it and can have one perception of detachment. And if they say, oh, yeah, I am, that tells us right there in that moment that they're not. Because the one who's detached wouldn't need to say that. Understanding. Always learning and listening. Profound words from Jules, learning to listen. So, ask me questions. And think for a minute, how would you define yourself? I think today leaves you more, Paul, wanting to think about this not being attached, becoming detached, versus concerned about the one who will become the master from. It takes a long experience of healing to be able to get to where you can see the grouping of your soul. The other people in that soul group are usually people you meet. I became, and through talking, we knew we were, that you could feel it. You have the same soul. Yes. I'm not sure I can read that. Oops. Yeah. And it is true. It is a lot about, you can learn through meditating about your thoughts even more. Like I teach meditation from Babaji, and that's what it's about, is learning to let the thoughts go until there are no thoughts. And what you do in life is you get to where there's not thoughts cluttering your day. And it's quite a wonderful experience. And it is working. People who have done it now, I can tell you, a number of the movie stars are doing the same kind of meditation. It's a bija meditation, which you go down and transcend in 2 minutes. And then you sit deep within yourself, allowing, you don't have to repeat a mantra. You go there and you are there. A medical test message was let go of the thing. Wait a minute. Oh. Let go of the things on earth and the earth suit. You're much more than just an earthling. You are a divine being. And that's what you need to discover in becoming living a detachment. Yeah. Well, rooting is the number one principle. If you don't wake up rooted every day, then that's the first thing you should do. But talking about that will take me off my subject for the day. Anybody else? Who's up here at the top? Shaylin, any question? Marby? Cavell? I remember I did go back and say, you want to start to go into your heart and ask to be shown that thread of truth, the gold thread. So you'll begin to have a greater capacity of discussion within yourself when you know, show me the thread, if it's truth or if it's not. And it's all about repetition. Everything you do is about repetition. Shailene's right. Detachment is very humbling, which is something we have to all become. Because God is humble. He is as He is. And we become as we are. She reminds herself daily to detach. Yeah, excellent. Thank you for sharing. So let's all take another minute now, and we'll bring Mother and Father down into heart. And that's where we're going to do the example I suggested. Yes, it's true. The heart chakra is green, so you could be having some green radiate. But as you bring Mother and Father down, it should also bring a gold. And then allow yourself to immerse yourself into that gold and ask, show me. Show me the gold thread of truth. And just be patient. Yes, very good, Jules. Life is an adventure. On LinkedIn, everyone's been saying that they have the gift of change in life. And I said, hello, life is guaranteeing that you will change in itself. And it's just very similar, Jules, to what you said. When you relax and not have an attachment to someone else or how it looks or what you have to do, there's a freedom that follows with detachment. Not only being humble, but also having and experiencing freedom in your life. Like, I'm so excited today about baking bread. It's just, I don't have words for it. Simple things. Complicated things get us all tangled up. And that's why we want to live simply. So I saw one other word in here. And I just had someone view my profile. How about that? I want to go to joy. Because that's one positive I would like to have you bring in to this place. Did anyone see the gold thread? Anybody? You see? In doing it, you sit there with Mother and Father and you begin to own how that feels. And the longer you do it, the more often you do it, it's going to become the norm. All right, joy. Be joyful, for joy lets in the light. And where there is joy, there is a little room for glamour and misunderstanding. Shailene saw the thread of light. Excellent. And no matter who it is, you're going to help yourself by being able to check in with that thread of light. You want to aim at demonstrating happiness. Be joyous in your work and service. Be not so intense, but go happily along the lighted way. Such is my prayer for you. That's from DK. So it's all about being joyful, whatever the moment is. If we learn to stop the reaction, which remember is mostly from the emotional field, it's freaking sung a song. Weird. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there's a sound. Maybe from above or below, I don't know. Or next door. But joyfulness is the greatest healer. You know, the greatest magic of God is love. But in that, there'll be a whip of joy that is always offered to you. It's all dependent on how you choose to see things. You know, we can choose to see things as horrible and I'll never make it through it. Well, those are human thoughts brought to the earth by the laggards who that's how they were. We were very much light. And all of a sudden, as the more they were around, the more we tapped into what they have. And now Shailene says she can hear it too. So we have to stop being a laggard. See, you can all hear that. I don't know what it is. I've never heard it before. So, from somewhere, someone's talking. They sang a little song. That's true. We have to detach. And I also want to say you want to detach from who you think you are, because I don't think you really know yet. How about that? We're good. I don't know what it was. Certainly nothing here in my space. And maybe a water pipe. I don't know. And of course, maybe it was God saying, hello, wake up, here you are. So no matter to what level you woke up, wake up a little bit more, because that's what we need to understand is there's always more to learn. There's always more to embrace ourselves with, and there's always more abilities through the energies of consciousness that we can learn and support ourselves with. So I guess I got a little windy today. No, no pun intended. I don't know what the sound was. If I find out, I'll let you know tomorrow. But tomorrow, we're going to have messages. And yes, from Mother, unless I change it or something comes and changes it from within me. But you'll all be excited. So come back again tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow and Wednesday. I won't have another freezing night. And many blessings to you on your day today. Let's see how detached we can allow ourselves to be and just be. Just be you. Just be the light. Many blessings. All right.